Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Let Them Theory. We're working on chapters, I think it's 4 and 5 today, about stress and not letting other people's feedback hold us back. And Mishka, you have volunteered to go first, so let's go.
Thank you so much for having me. My idea or my technique that I use to de stress, which is inspired by the Let Them theory, especially chapter 4, I imagine myself writing a letter to the person who was trying to stress me. And then I put it in an envelope and send it to them. All of that is kind of being visualized. I don't do that physically. And each time I hear their words in my mind, I take a step back and imagine the letter being sent to them. And then I also came up with a shorter version of that strategy as well. I'll just say to myself, I'm sending you back your energy because I don't want it in my space.
I like that.
And then I even came up with a shorter version. Your energy is back to you. It's yours, not mine.
Nice.
So that technique honestly helped me a lot in my professional and personal life. And I was inspired to come up with it through the let them theory. The book, as you know, talks a lot about how to avoid, or not to avoid, but how to manage and handle those who try to stress you.
I love that. In fact, I'm going to use that because my stressor happened about 2 weeks ago. And I
Sorry.
I kept doing the let them theory. So I'm sorry I'm jumping in. I told people they could do it, but mine fits right in here. Um, some friends were over and we were playing cards, and my partner and I, the gal and I, were losing. It was later at night, which I'm not good after 6 o'clock at night, so it was a little late. I was tired, and he and my husband, he just did some body language that just felt really well there. You know what I mean? He didn't say it, but
Mhm.
I took it, and I did let them the next day to kind of get rid of it, and it sort of helped, but it didn't really help. And I never got to. Well, yeah, I did for the let me. Yeah, let me let
Mhm.
go of it and let him just be a jerk if he wants to be. And it was my impression that he was a jerk. He might not have been a jerk, but you know what I mean. It's so. I mean, I had to process that, and I think you're. I don't know. I might have to do the imagining the letter and sending it to him because that might help me unpack all that. But yeah, it was a lovely stressor, and I think I'm over it. But took longer than I'd like.
Mhm.
Okay, who's got another one? Stress.
Cynthia, you have something to share with us?
I was waiting for you, girlfriend.
Okay, okay. Well, in my career, I have worked with children. I've been coordinator and a director of early childhood learning. And I was in a program for 13 years as a director. And I, there was some things going on that just really felt unhealthy. And I had dealt with some stuff off and on throughout my career there. I was there for 13 years. And I just had finally gotten my craw full. And I was finishing up my bachelor's degree in early childhood education. I had started with an associate degree. It was the impetus to help me, let me. I wasn't doing well at the point of let them. I was letting things land on me and I was letting it affect my life. And I could feel that. And I finally came to the realization it was kind of like a frog in hot water. You know, you put a frog in a pot of water and then you turn the water up, and until the water gets really hot, the frog doesn't know, what's going on or doesn't do anything to change their future. And it finally gave me the impetus to say, I'm not wanting to deal with this anymore. I have been spending 13 years and there were so many benefits, and I love my career and I loved my job on many levels, but every job has its challenges. And it was enough for me to go in and give them my resignation and say, I will be here for one more month and then I'm leaving. And I don't know that I would be empowered to do that if it had not gotten enough uncomfortable for me to want to make that change.
Well, good for you.
I'm so glad Mishka went first. That was a wonderful recommendation. I think all three of us are saying thank
Absolutely.
you, Mishka. I don't really have an instance because it feels like to me this book is teaching me more about what I need to do for my own head. I'm like Sue in that I say over and over, let them, because it isn't that they're trying to do anything to me, Mishka. Like you started out by saying, no, it's all my head. I know that I am seeing them as a creep or them as the being after me or them being difficult. I know I need to work on my own head.
Yeah.
I think this whole book is teaching me to say, let them, to be aware. And I love the idea of writing it in my journal or my book. But I don't want to give my power away. And she says that so clearly that when I succumb to anger or fear or grumbling or complaining, or I've lost all my happiness. And if my goal every day is happy, then they have taken away my happiness.
They're taking your energy away.
Yeah, that's not right. I am in control.
Right.
Yeah. Cynthia, when you were talking, what jumped out at me is this is so cultural.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of the norm to take it personally and to let them take, and we sometimes we're not even aware of it. So I like the additional process of writing a letter or saying, putting up the shield. I had a principal one time, and the little 5-year-old kindergartners would come in crying about what somebody did on the playground. And she said, okay, put your hand up, shake your finger and say, you don't have permission to talk to me that way. It was the cutest thing. But I mean, we all need to do that. We need to say, whoa, my boundary is here. I let you encroach it. And now I'm going to push it back on you. I love that. Okay.
Yeah, because even Sandy had to eat it. She had to be the one to lead. Doggone it.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be. I mean, if you were contributing and loving it, now maybe it was a great impetus, Sandy. Maybe it was exactly what you needed. But on the other hand, did you end up losing something or giving something up that you really wanted to keep? Who knows right now?
I had to keep pulling up my big girl panties and going back to the situation because there was things and it wasn't continual. There was pockets of things that would happen. I would walk my way through it, talk my way through it, and I would show up again the next day. But it got to the point where after 13 years of it, it was like that 90-10 principle. 90% of what had happened, it wasn't as big a deal at the very end, but it was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you. And I hope
Honestly,
that you say you fulfilled with where you went next.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of a malaise comes over you and you just have a general sense that if it keeps coming back, it's kind of the signal that, it's time to walk out the door.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. Any other comments about the stress chapter and let them before we move on to the next one?
just a quick one for me. What I've noticed from all of us talking, it wasn't the big issue. So what we highlighted where I'm gonna use your word, so the jerk that behaved inappropriately during a game, the small pockets that kind of slowly became bigger and bigger to the limit that Sandy felt it wasn't her place anymore. The self-talk that Cynthia has with herself. So all of these are not major or big deal, issues. They may be very important to us, but if you look, on the larger scale of things, these are, more personal, more issues that happen between you and you more than anyone else. And despite that, they leave an impact on us. They impact us heavily. It feels like, maybe for a lack of a better term, someone stabbed you. That's the type of pain you feel from it. And in the process, that person took something from you.
Yeah.
So to the limit that either you wanted to, kind of take some sort of an action to protect your boundaries, or to kind of disconnect from the situation. So oftentimes it's these little things that get bigger and bigger, and lead to stress and lead to probably sleepless nights or something like that.
Sure.
Well, one of the things that she talks about in chapter 4, she said each individual situation. Remember, she's talking about her dog. We're going to the dog park, and the ranger says, people are not taking care of their dogs. We're going to close this opportunity for dogs to come here. If people don't start cleaning up the poop and don't start having their dogs on leashes. So that is, and in that situation that I talked to you about, there was benefit because I was able to be on the same campus with my kids. So that was one of the things that held me there, that made me keep coming back, because I wanted to be as involved with my kids as they were growing up as I could. So that weighed heavy enough. If you're looking at balancing and making it individual, it was enough of a strong commitment to me that, my kids are getting older. By the time 13 years have gone by, it was like, okay, the benefit of that is my kids are getting older, and they're not, the situation is changing as far as not needing me as much. They're all in high school and stuff. And that helped with that individual situation to make that decision.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's good.
Sue, can I add one more piece?
Oh, please, yes.
I underlined and wrote down in my notes, give it pause. What I'm learning is I'm hearing from so many places, which must be a lesson I really need, is that whole breathing technique. And when I feel myself getting anxious or stressed,
right?
When she said give it pause, that's what your letter does, Mishka. It makes you pause. You don't say anything like immediately if you know you're going to pause or write a letter or write in your journal. Yeah. And anyway, I wrote that one down because
I like that. And to add that is not really to add, but it's important, who is this person?
Yes.
Is this somebody that I want to maintain a relationship with? Right. And I need to process through my feelings before I make an action that I might regret. And that's really, truly what emotional intelligence is. It's, who is this person? Do I want to have a relationship with them? And what's the impact?
Right.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move from stress
into
a time when you let somebody else's opinion of you or what you thought their opinion of you was going to be like. So if there's someone wants to jump in and start.
I will on this one.
Okay.
Because I'll tell you, as you age more, I'm starting to feel paranoid because I get interrupted all the time. And I think, oh my God, did I just say something and nobody heard it?
Oh, yes.
And I keep thinking, what are they thinking? Are they thinking that I'm not capable enough to contribute to this group or this party or this meeting? And so again, it's my thoughts. My thoughts are the ones that are pulling me backwards, but I just feel like I'm starting to get invisible, that thing that happens, and just don't. Anyway, so what am I doing about that? I'm definitely hearing it in my own head. I'm definitely pausing and saying, Cynthia, are you being ignored, or are you just not speaking up loud enough? What I have done is I've just repeated myself. I decided I didn't want to walk out that meeting
Right.
without, I tried.
Yeah.
So I did.
Good for you.
I just thought I cannot leave until I've said, well, I'd like to contribute.
Yeah. You're not letting them take your power.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that whole what are people thinking about you is, again, I don't think we have any idea what people are thinking about us. And I loved her examples of how you even think about the people you love the most. You already think, well, I wish John wouldn't, I wish he could hear better. You know, I told you this, like,
Yeah. Well,
and so you're thinking what these things, the people that you love. Okay, so they're thinking things about you too. You can't change them, and I'm wasting again my energy, my time, my happiness by trying to influence. Otherwise, than just show up and be the best you can be. That's.
I love that. I'm going to jump on your story just for a second, even though it isn't my story on this. After my back surgery, and I'm in a wheelchair, and my voice got, my surgery kind of ruined my voice. And so even in family meetings and stuff, I don't feel heard. I feel discounted is the word that I use. And my kids laugh at me because what I started doing, at least in family meetings, is raising my hand. It's mom's turn. Okay, mom, you know what I mean? I don't think they were aware of it. And but yeah, I mean, even in the grocery store, if I'm low in a cart, you get discounted.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. I can concur with that. I'll jump in now with my story because it's not that one, but that's a good one. I like that. One of my family members, this was probably, maybe 15, 20 years ago. And I had lost a considerable amount of weight and I was looking really good. And they were over at our house, and I wasn't being pompous, but you know how you feel when you look good, and then something just hit me, and she didn't say anything, but her energy kind of made me think that I was impeding her weight loss because of my success. And I mean, I got rid of that right away, but it happened and it was real. And which was totally stupid. I was giving away my power, but I cared about her. I cared about her health too. And so I just kind of relinquished it. And of course I allowed the weight to come back on, but it was sad. I mean, it wasn't a mean thing on her part, but it was one of those high empathetic things, that it just overtook me. So that's my example. And I don't know if let them would have worked, but the letter might have worked to myself. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I wanting? So that, somehow I let it.
Look how you got sabotaged.
Pardon?
You got sabotaged.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm. You let her
what I was thinking she was feeling sabotage me. I did.
Yeah,
it did. That's a good word.
It did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. And again, it's difficult to notice it and then push back on that energy.
Yeah.
Well, and I think we need to unpack stuff I am terrible at making conclusions of what I think people are thinking about me. I'm getting better at it, but I've let that have way too much power in my life. And one of those things is that we make up our own story.
Yeah.
And we need to be able to say, hold on, where are we coming from this? What makes us think this is what the story is? And kind of just be able to unpack it, just kind of break it down and if it is that truly what that person is thinking, feeling, wanting, or, reacting to you, that let them helps a lot in just saying, okay, they they can do what they need to do, and I can do what I need to do, because I'm just as bad seeing my adult kids and thinking, boy, I wish they would do this, or I wish they would do that. It's not my job anymore to do
Mm.
that. And it is important for me to let them, in regard to their own life and choices and decisions, that it is, as it is coming back at me, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, and Mel talks a lot about control.
Mm-hmm.
That really is true. It wouldn't do any good for me to have control over them, because they need to make their own decisions.
Right.
I mean, and I know that up here, but getting it out of here, and again, I think it's habit. We tend to have the habit.
My story is a little bit similar to your stories. At some point in my career, I worked in an organization, and the organization had limited internal control. So things were a little bit loose, so to speak. However, on my end, my position required me to dress a little bit formally, because I would meet, people, even though online most of the time, but they are, at a high level of importance. They show up formally to the meeting. I cannot, come wearing a t-shirt or something that is casual. Since I started in this organization, one person, decided, and, they even admit in many meetings that they look at one person and either they like them or they hate them. They use that word.
Wow.
Wow.
I had a feeling that perhaps I fell on the other side of the equation. And throughout my entire, tenure there, oftentimes, I would notice that person glares at me, makes face gestures or body language. To be honest with you, I said to myself, this person will not like me no matter what I do. And I'm not here to be liked. My existence in this organization is to complete assignments and to serve the mission.
Right.
So, each time I receive some sort of a gesture from them or their behavior, I immediately put it to the side. No matter how hard they try, like they try to, literally put it in my face so as I can see it. But I continue to rise above it, because I knew I have a mission to complete, and I was fully focused on that mission. My advice to anyone who finds themselves in these positions is, number one, don't box yourself, because we have a tendency to try to, maybe, for example, in my case, I should come casually to the workplace and explain myself, let's say in a meeting, why I'm dressed up like this. Or, I will tone down whatever it is I'm trying to do. It's not your job to box yourself, to, wear a size that is smaller than your regular size just to please somebody.
Right.
It's on them to respect, as you literally said, Sue, in the beginning, your boundary. You have, certain boundaries that totally up to you and totally up to your discretion. So no intrusion, so to speak. And that's my advice. Continue to act as you normally act. Continue to be authentic. This is you. Changing you to respond to them or to get them to leave you alone won't help, because they find something else and they will pick on it,
Yeah.
and you in the process.
That's good.
And that is the part that I myself struggled with a little bit, and I know other people may have as well.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Really nice. Really nicely said.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Very.
Sandy.
I was just thinking about the fact that there was a point in time where I was really doubting myself. I think it happens. How we go through cycles. There's times when we're stronger than other times, right? And
Correct.
remember, I'm a person of faith, and I remember praying and saying, "Who am I supposed to be?" And I remember my spirit telling me, the spirit, my soul saying, "You need to be the best that I created you to be." And that means that my personality that I bring forward, the character, I mean, I want to grow and develop and mature where I need to. I think that's a part of being a human. But it also helped me give permission to myself not to water it down and be less than what I was made to be, right? Be the best that you can be, because that's what you were created to be. And I remember that being a turning point for me in not letting people influence me to be different as much as maybe I had let it be when I was younger, in my earlier years.
That's great.
I'm glad you listened, Sandy. So glad you listened.
Yes. Yeah. And you have to have quiet time. You have to be giving yourself space to be able to hear that and know that.
Yes. Yes. How many of us don't stop?
Right.
Yes.
Don't say, be quiet, pause, sit down and be quiet. Listen.
And, yeah, it's sort of grounding. I mean, you have to breathe and ground yourself and be courageous in who you are. And I remember I used to have a statement that I used saying, feedback is information, not definition.
Right.
Whatever even I think that someone else is thinking is really none of my business.
And I think I mentioned the last time that we were together, because I had read ahead. So I had read this chapter, and I remember thinking to myself, I am a reacher outer, and there's a lot of people that are not. And it's easy to feel like I'm the only one holding this relationship, but some people just don't have that gift of reaching out. And that was part of the message that came to my soul, is I'm called to be a reacher out and make a difference.
Yeah. And I love that part of the book that I know we're getting to about friendships and reaching out to others. It's just so important, as we age, but it's important for young, just do it and, build those relationships because they're invaluable. Anybody want to say anything more about feedback and whether, thinking about?
I would say this. Unfortunately, the term feedback became associated a lot with negativity. And it seems that the feedback giver also approaches the issue of feedback from that perspective. The thing is, feedback is, as you said, Sue, it's providing someone with information.
Right.
If that's the definition of it, then we should not be using it as a tool to get back at someone. It's very easy to make the feedback look like criticism. And when the person is injured or trying to voice, their opinion, we would say, oh, but he's not good or she's not good about receiving feedback. And that's not a team player. It's not about critique. It's about providing tools and resources to someone in order to get to a higher level of performance. That's what it is.
Sure.
But again, unfortunately, if you go to any place, any workplace, and you have a conversation with someone and you say, let me give you some feedback, you would notice the person is on edge a little bit. Maybe their defensive shield is on. You can see their face changes. So I wouldn't say we damaged that tool the way we used it,
Mhm.
but perhaps we need to redefine it.
Mhm.
Start with positivity, start with things that you observe that the person is doing well. Make it conversational. Ask them, do you want to consider doing this maybe next time? Does that feels comfortable to you? If you make it more conversational, people will be more engaged
Sure.
versus one-sided conversation. That's my take on the feedback.
Well, and I like to, when I'm giving someone feedback, for sure to stop and say, "What did you hear me say?"
Exactly.
Because they usually come back and say, "Well, I blew it. No, I didn't say that. Let me try again." And like
Mhm.
you say, if you can start, because sometimes people have a harder time receiving positive feedback, and they don't hear it. It just kind of, goes right by them. And so it's tough, but you're right. It needs some fresh definitions for sure. Cynthia, were you going to say something?
I just want to thank you. I realize that we all read this book, Sandy's. I haven't quite finished it either, Sandy. So, but how many times do you read a book this important,
Oh,
and that you take time to debrief it, to work it through, and hear what other people say?
Right.
mhm.
Uh,
It's
honest to
very
God,
valuable.
I don't even read a book a second time. And I've, by getting ready for these meetings, I'm reading each of the chapters a second time, and then I underline more, and then I copy my notes on Sue's agenda, because I just want to thank you, Sue. This is making this book so much better than just, oh, I read this great book and it gave me some good insights. This makes the book really important.
Right.
And I love the way that we each tear it apart, because
Yes.
let them is it's such a big vitamin.
Yeah, it
You
is.
know,
Big one
and
to swallow.
it's been capsulized, which is good, but tearing it apart really makes it much more meaningful and
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah.
So that's great. Oh, I'm happy we're meeting too, and the people that didn't join us are missing out. But
I'd
they,
love listening to your
they
input.
get to hear it. They get to hear it. I put it on the website, so on Substack, so they can hear it. And I've had several people comment on listening to it and being happy. So
Okay.
there's an impact there. Okay, so we've talked about stressors and we've talked about feedback. What is one takeaway? Sandy, I'm going to start with you from this podcast today. What's your one takeaway?
I love the thought that my responsibility is let me, and the rest of the let them I do not have to be responsible for. That is a weight off my shoulders. I leave my family, I leave my friends in the hands of God, and I say, I will pray for them and I will be there for them as I need to be, but I don't have to take on their stuff.
Yeah.
I can be there for them and align myself with them. But as a adult gal, sometimes as a leader, I think that this is issue too, is that when you have been a leader, you had to be able to fix things in your position. And I don't have to do that.
Yay. Okay. Cynthia, how about you? What's one takeaway?
I'm going to concur with Sandy and say the book is titled Let Them. So we think that's the lesson. It has to be let them, let them. And I've tried doing what Sue did the next day when I was upset, and let them, let them, let them.
Right.
And I only got angrier and angrier. And I thought, oh, damn it. They shouldn't be letting me. And so I think the book is more important for me to say, let me. I think that's I've got to learn to take pause, to write it down, to ask myself, to listen to my spirit. What do I need to learn from this? And don't interpret that they're gossiping about me or thinking about me. So what?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we need to do it backwards. Do the, the let them and then come back to the let me.
I'm just going to retitle this book. Let me
Yeah.
claim my own power and not lose it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I love that. That's our responsibility. It's
It
let
is.
them
It
is
is.
not my responsibility.
Only me. I can't take care of anybody else but me and my head
That's right.
and my life and who I am.
Yeah. Mishkat, how about you? One takeaway.
My takeaway is, like Cynthia said, to pause and reflect a little bit. Oftentimes, I can pause physically, but mentally, the issue is still going in my mind. I'm still talking to myself about it.
Mhm.
And my son honestly taught me this technique. He said, Mom, imagine that the conversation is in a room and now you are leaving the room and turning off the lights and telling them bye bye. So that's the pause, honestly.
That's good.
And sometimes, at least I'm aware of it. When I notice the conversation is ongoing in my head, I say to myself, enough is enough. Let's turn off the lights for now. But I truly appreciate the reminder, the discussion. Also, like Cynthia said, it's not a book anymore. It's a little bit of an organization, at least for us and our audiences. We are taking actions based on what we are reading, and we are sharing it amongst ourselves to see if we can even take it further and build on it more.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, my takeaway, and it just jumped out at me, Mishkat, when you were talking, because this process of going back in, whether I'm writing what I was thinking, and it really is reprogramming, is how we reprogram our brain. We have grooves in our brain that we've been doing this forever, and we have to jump out of it and do something differently and make a new groove.
Right.
And so we're making new grooves in our brain. That's that neuroplasty stuff they talk about. And it's really what we're doing here. And as we talk and process, we're moving towards, my choice is to be happy and joyful today. And I'm not going to let anybody else rain
Amen.
on the parade. Yeah, absolutely.
We wouldn't be building those grooves, Sue, if you hadn't said, let's do something about
Yes.
it. We wouldn't. Otherwise, we could have just read this and said, oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Put it on the shelf. Yep, absolutely. Now it's all marked up, and we're actually
Yeah,
making
we're talking about it.
that.
Talking about it. And I'm learning from all of you. This is wonderful.
Well, thank you so much, everybody. And we will move towards, I think, are we going into 6 and 7 next?
Yeah.
And we'll see. I don't know how soon is soon to meet again. I'm still waiting on not knowing when my surgery is. So I'm in surgery limbo, and I'm trying. There's nobody to let them do anything. It's an organization. So I'm trying not to get mad about it, but because I know that I'm not in charge, and it's going to work out to the best. But I don't know. We'll email times. How's that?
Perfect.
Sounds
Maybe,
good.
is next week too soon if we do another one next week? Because I know Sandy's out of town after the 22nd.
Oh, that makes a difference. That I was going to say the 29th gives us 2 weeks, a week in between. But Sandy, if you're leaving town, I'd rather meet on the 20. You say you're leaving on the 22nd?
22nd? Will you want to do 22nd?
Well, we could reschedule. Well, we could reschedule after I get back if that works, because I'm going to be gone for a week. That gives us a week to read our books.
But I think most of us have already kind of read it. It's just who cannot do it next Monday?
I could do it on the 22nd.
Yeah.
I can.
Okay. Let me know if you can't, and we'll plan it. And it'll probably be around the same time, maybe.
1:30 time works.
Yeah, that works for me too. 22nd
Okay, we'll plan
on
on next
1:30.
Monday. We'll do chapter 6 and 7. Did I know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
6 and 7.
Yes. 6
Yeah, we
7.
did 4 and 5 today. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. So I'm going to stop our recording, and we'll see you next week. Hang in there. We'll debrief.
Thanks, everyone.